dear students. Today in this video we are going to solve the CBSE 2020 question paper set 31-1. That is the first set. And again this first set have three subsets 31-2 and 31-3. And actually these three sets have 90% of the question as common, and some questions of 31-2 and 1-3 will be different from the 31-1. Okay, so in this video we will discuss 31-1 and which are the questions which is not common among these three. We will discuss in the next video. As you know, the syllabus for the 2020-21 academic session reduced to 70%, so that there are some questions which is out of the syllabus. So I will just discuss. You don't need to focus on such questions. Okay, but remember, pattern of the 2021 question paper is different from the 20s question paper. So no need to follow this pattern. We are just discussing the questions, how the question will be asked. Pattern is entirely different. So in the coming videos, I will discuss the pattern in detail. Okay. So let's get into the questions. Here, first question is given that if one of the zeros of quadratic polynomial is, so the quadratic polynomial is given here, that x square, question number 1, x square plus 3x plus k, and the zero of this polynomial is given, that is 2. Then find the value of k. That is a very basic question, because we know that what is the meaning of 0. Whenever we assign this value for x, the entire polynomial becomes 0. That's why this 2 is known as 0 of the polynomial. So to get the value of k, just substitute x equal to 2 is the 0 of this given polynomial, so we can put x equal to 2. So p of 2 should be 0. Clear? That is the meaning of 0 of a polynomial. Then we can get, that is 2 square plus 3 into 2 plus k is equal to 0. Okay, solving this equation, we have the value of k is equal to 4 plus 4 is the 2 square is 4, 4 plus 6, it will be plus 10. Plus 10 take it to here, it will be minus 10. Okay, so k is equal to minus 10. Option B is the right answer. Okay, this is the multiple choice. Now come to the question number 2. The total number of factors of a prime number. We all know that prime number, this is the question from chapter number 1. So we should have the basic knowledge about the different kind of number systems. So here we need to know what is prime number. Prime number is a number is divisible by only 1 and itself. That means its factors will be that number and 1. For example, 2 is equal to 2 into 1. 3 is equal to 3 into 1. Okay. And another prime number we can make, that is 5. 5 is equal to 5 into 1. So for all the prime numbers, how many factors are there? 2 factors. Clear? So option C is the correct one. Now in question number 3, the quadratic polynomial, the sum of whose zeros is minus 5. So sum of zeros is equal to, that is alpha plus beta. Let's consider alpha and beta are the zeros or roots of the equation. So sum of the roots is equal to minus 5. Alpha plus beta is equal to minus 5. Okay, sorry, this is not quadratic equation, quadratic polynomial. And their product is, that is alpha into beta is equal to 6. Product is 6. Clear? So if sum of zeros and product of zeros is given, we need to find a quadratic polynomial in which it will satisfy the given condition. So we can write a quadratic polynomial in terms of the zeros. That is the formula we need to remember, k into x square minus alpha plus beta into x plus alpha into beta. Okay. For the value of k, let's put final stage. First of all, let's put the value of alpha plus beta and alpha into beta. So x square minus alpha plus beta is equal to minus 5. So minus of minus 5 into x plus alpha into beta is equal to 6. Okay, k is the, don't forget to put k because k we need to learn. Then k into what we will get here, x square minus of minus 5 will become plus 5x plus 6. Now here there is no denominator, so we don't need to multiply equation. So we can put k is equal to 1. So we will get a x square plus 5x plus 6. That is the answer. Clear? Okay. So which option is right? Option A. That is x square plus 5x plus 6. So remember this formula. We have to remember this one. This formula is not only important for the quadratic polynomial, it is also important for quadratic equation, because for both concepts we are using the same formula. When it is become quadratic equation, there will be only equal to 0. Otherwise, it is become quadratic polynomial. Clear? Okay. Now come to the question number 4. The value of k for which the system of equation x plus y minus 4 is equal to 0 and 2x plus ky is equal to 3. This is given. So here two equations are given. So we need to get the value of a1, a2, a3 like that. According to this question, it is given that for no solution, the condition is what we have, a1 by a2 is equal to b1 by b2 is not equal to c1 by c2. That is a condition. So here, what is the values of a1? a1 is equal to 1 into x. So the coefficient of x in first equation is 1 and b1 is equal to 1. Again, coefficient of y here it is 1, that is 1 into y. Okay, 1 and c1 is equal to minus 4. Okay, this is same as the textbook questions. And next, a2 will be 2. Similarly, b2 is equal to k and c2 is equal to 3. Okay. Now substitute these values in this formula. We will get a1 by a2 is 1 by 2, b1 by b2 is 1 by k, which is not equal to c1 by c2 is minus 4 by 3. So first let's 1 by k, okay, it's not 1 by 4, 1 by k. Now just apply this condition, cross multiply, we will get a k is equal to 1 into 2, that is 2. So we have got a k equal to 2 from first condition, and we are looking here, we will directly get 1 by k is not equal to minus 4 by 3, that is k not equal to, take the reciprocal, 3 by minus 4. So this condition is satisfied. So which option is right? Option D, that is k equal to 2. Now come to the question number 5. For question number 5, the HCF and LCM of 12, 21, 15 respectively. So remember, as for this year, Euclid division algorithm is removed from your syllabus, it's deleted from your syllabus. So for the question involving HCF and LCM, you don't need to use Euclid division algorithm, you just use the prime factorization method, okay, which we have learned in small classes. So directly answer is 3 is the HCF and 420 is the LCM, okay, you can try yourself, I am not going to discuss that one, okay, very simple question. Now come to the next question, that the value of x for which 2x comma x plus 10, okay, and 3x plus 2, okay, 2x, x plus 10, 3x plus 2, okay. Look at the question carefully, okay, I am not going to write those question parts also. Are these 3 consecutive terms of AP, then find the value of x. If there are 3 terms given, that is a1, a2 and a3, 3 terms given, then the necessary condition, these 3 terms should be the part of AP only if the difference between the consecutive terms equal. So to be AP, the necessary condition is a2 minus a1, that is a common difference between the first 2 terms. That should be equal to the difference between these 2 terms, that is a3 minus a2. Then only there will be a common difference. This is the condition it should satisfy to become AP. So apply this condition in the given terms. What is the a1, a2? Second term is from the question, that is x plus 10. Okay, minus first term is given in question, that is 2x. That should be equal to the third term given in question, that is 3x plus 2. Okay, minus a2 is x plus 1. Sorry, x plus 10. Now solving this, we will get here x minus 2x is minus x plus 10, which is equal to 3x minus x, that is 2x plus 2, and minus 10 will be minus 8. Now this 10 take into here and 2x take into here, what we will get here? That is minus x plus 2x will be minus 2x is equal to minus 8 plus 10 will be minus 10. Now minus 3x is equal to minus 18, and that therefore x is equal to minus 18 divided by minus 3, which is equal to 6. So which option is right? Option A is correct one. Okay. Now come to the question number 7. The first term of an AP is P and the common difference is Q. Okay. A is given, that is P, and common difference is Q. Then we have to find the 10th term of the AP. 10th term of the AP means A10, we have to find it. What is the formula? We have AN is equal to A plus N minus 1 into D. Just substitute the value of A and D as P and Q. Already we have N is equal to 10 because 10th term we have to find. Therefore, 10th term is equal to what is A? P plus N minus 1 will be 10 minus 1 into what is D? D is equal to Q. That is equal to P plus 10 minus 1 is 9, 9 into Q. That is a very simple one. Without solving also, we can directly write the answer. So which option is right? Option C is the correct one. Clear. Next we come to the question number 8. We have to find the distance between these 2 points. For that, this one is x1, this one is y1. Okay, 0 here. This is x2 and this is y1, y2. Okay. So what is the distance formula we have? Distance between 2 points is equal to x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. This is the formula we have learned. So apply it here. So what we will get here? x2 is 0. 0 minus x1 is equal to a cos theta plus b sin theta. Okay, whole square plus y2 is a sin theta, bracket it. Okay, a sin theta minus b, sorry, a sin theta and I think my coordinates are written wrong. A sin theta minus b cos theta. Okay, according to the question, you can see here it is b cos theta. So b cos theta minus what is y1? Y1 is equal to 0 whole square. That is equal to 0 is the, so 0 can be removed. Then minus of a sin theta, a cos theta plus b sin theta whole square. So this, when we take this whole square, this minus will be, can be neglected. So we don't need to consider that one. So we can directly apply here a plus b, x plus y whole square. That will be a square cos square theta plus b square sin square theta plus 2a cos theta into b sin theta. Okay, so this is the formula, algebraic identity. We have that. But we have learned x plus y whole square is equal to x square plus y square plus 2 into x into y. Clear. Similarly here also minus 0 is the, so that minus 0 we don't need to consider. So it will become a sin theta minus b cos theta whole square. Clear. So that will be a minus b, x minus y whole square. That will be a square sin square theta plus b square sin square theta. Then instead of plus, here it will be minus, that is 2a sin theta, 2a sin theta into b cos theta. One is x plus y whole square, one is x minus y whole square. Okay. Here a square is common in both terms, so take it outside. Okay. A square into remaining here cos square theta plus here it is sin square theta. Clear? Plus here b square is common, so taking the b square is outside, b square into here sin square. Oh, sorry, here it is cos. Okay, I'm writing it is wrong. B square cos square theta. Okay, because the term is here it is b cos theta. So b square is common, take it outside, sin square theta plus here it is cos square theta. Okay, plus here it is same terms because the factors of these terms are same. 2 is the, a is the, cos theta is the, and b is the, sin theta also is the. Order of the multiplication is different, but still these two terms are same factors, that means they are like terms with the opposite signs cancelled. Now here a square into what is cos square theta plus sin square theta? We have an algebraic identity, that is cos square theta plus sin square theta is equal to 1. We have learned in the chapter trigonometry. So by using this identity, we will get a cos square theta plus sin square theta is equal to 1, and here b square into sin square theta plus cos square theta, again it is 1. So that is equal to a square into 1 is a square plus b square into 1 is b square. So which option is the right? Option C is the right. So option C is the right one. Now come to the question number 9. In question number 9, given that the a point P, E, K, 0 is dividing the line segment joining the points A is 2, 2, minus 2, and B minus 7, 4. Okay, in the ratio that is m1 is to m2 is equal to 1 is to 2. It is, these are the quantities given. We have to find the value of k. If a line segment is divided by the point, that suppose we are considering AB is a line segment and is divided by P, we have one formula. What is that? The coordinates of that point will be is equal to m1 into x2 plus m2 into x1 divided by m1 plus m2, comma, one more is the, what is that, y coordinate. But here y coordinate we are not going to apply, we just need only the value of k, so only we need to write the x coordinate. So the k will be this one and 0 will be here, it is y value, but that is no matter. Now that is equal to k is, that implies k is equal to what is m1? m1 is equal to 1 and m2 is equal to 2. The corresponding ratios are m1 is 1 and m2, the value of m2 is 2. Clear? And k is equal to m1 is 1. Now what is x1 and x2? Like that, here we can write that this is the x1. Okay? This is the x1 and this is the y1, and we can consider this is as x2 and this is it as y2. Okay, then one is to remember, unlike we have to take the correct way. We are not supposed to take here x1, here x2 and here y2. No, because this is the first point we are considering. So ratio also according to that. So we have to take this one as x1, this is y1. Correspondingly, here it is x2 and y2. Clear? Then m1 is 1 into x2 is minus 7. Okay, minus 7 plus m2 is 2. m2 is 2 into what is x1? x1 is equal to 2. Divided by m1 plus m2, that is 1 plus 2. Okay, 1 plus 2, which is equal to minus 1 into 7, minus 7, plus 2 into 2, 4, divided by 1 plus 2 is equal to 3, which is equal to minus 7 plus 4 is minus 3 by 3, which is equal to minus 1. So which option is right? K equal to minus 1. So the option D is the correct one. Now come to the question number 10. In question number 10, it is given that 3 points are given. If they are collinear, then find the value of P. Actually, we know that if 3 points are collinear, A, B, C. Suppose we are considering 3 points A, B, C. Then if they are collinear, 2 concepts we can use. One is that we can the area of the triangle formed by this ABC, 3 points will be equal to 0. Clear. Then we just put those values of A, B, and C in the area formula triangle we have given in the textbook. Just put equal to 0, we will get the value of B. Either we will get a quadratic equation or linear equation, solve it, we will get the value of B. But for this academic year, this topic is deleted from your syllabus, so I am going to discuss this one. If anybody is interested with this, you can solve yourself. And one more concept we can use, that is AB. If they are collinear, AB and plus BC, sum of these two line segments should be equal to whole, that is AC. But if you are going to solve this way, it will be a very lengthy question. So this types of question is not going to ask under the 1 mark section. Okay. So we are leaving that one. Now look at the question number 11. Here it is given that in the question, a triangle ABC is circumscribing the circle. That means the sides of the triangle touches the circle, which means these lines AP, AR, BP, BQ, QC, all these line segments are the tangent of the given circle. That is the meaning of circumscribing. If they are tangent, then what is the question is actually we need to find BC. BC we have to find. So this types of question is usually used to ask. So here this is AP, that is 4 centimeter. We already learned in the chapter circle that two tangents drawn from a point to a circle are equal. These two are equal according to the theorem 10.1 or 2. I forgot the sequence number of that theorem, either 10.1 or 10.2 given in the chapter 10. Clear. So these two are equal, so this also will be 4 centimeter. And here it is given 3 centimeter. This also two tangent from the point B, so this also will be 3 centimeter. Now come to here, AC is totally 11 centimeter. Out of this AR is 4 centimeter. So RC will be 11 minus this 4, which is equal to 7 centimeter. As these two are tangent from the point C to the given circle, so this also 7, so obviously this is 7. So BC will be 3 plus 7 is equal to 10 centimeter. Clear? So this is not multiple choice question. These all questions are 2 mark questions. Okay? Sorry, 1 mark question, not 2 mark question. Okay? Okay. Now question number 12. Given the two triangles ABC similar to PQR and AB by PQ is equal to 1 by 3. AB by PQ is equal to 1 by 3. What we have to find that area of triangle, ratio of the area of triangle ABC to the ratio of the areas of triangle PQR. Clear? So we have one theorem that if these two triangles are similar, actually the proof of the theorem is deleted for this year, but you can expect some numerical questions or some problems which based on this theorem. This is theorem 6.4 or 5, I don't know. I don't remember the sequence number, but this is the theorem which given in the chapter 6. So on chapter 6, triangles, and this theorem is dealing with the area of triangle. If two triangles are similar, then the ratio of the areas of two similar triangles is equal to square of the ratio of their corresponding side, that is AB by PQ all square. But AB by PQ is given, that is 1 by 3, so the ratio will be 1 by 3 whole square. What is 1 square is 1, 3 square is 9. So the ratio is 1 by 9 or 1:9. Clear? Now come to the question number 13. Question number 13 is that ABC is an equilateral triangle of side 2A, then the length of one of its altitude. This is very simple question. From small classes onwards we are doing this one 2A. Okay? Then we have to find the height or length of one of its altitude. We all know that the altitude and median of the equilateral triangle and isosceles triangles are same, which means the altitude bisect the base. Altitude means it is making perpendicular, and median means it is bisecting. So altitude and median are both same, means the altitude bisect the base. So this length will be A. Now this is became a right angular triangle. Just apply the Pythagoras theorem. Suppose this is giving us BC, DE like that. Just apply the Pythagoras theorem. We will get here AD is equal. AB square is equal to BD square plus AD square. Okay, so we have to find that is AD altitude. AD is equal to what is the AB square minus BD square. Clear? So square root is there. Okay, we are taking the square root on both sides. So what is AB? AB square is equal to 2A whole square minus what is BD? BD is equal to A. BD will be A square. Root of 2 square A whole square is 2A whole square is the 2 square is equal to 4. A square is A square minus A square is there. Which is equal to square root of 4A square minus 3A minus A square is equal to 3A square. Okay? Taking the square root, so root 3 is the root 3 and A square, root of A square will be A. So the length of one of its altitude is root 3A. Okay, that is the answer. Now come to the question number 14. Question number 14, we can only solve by using the trigonometric ratio of the complementary angles. As that portion is deleted from your syllabus for this academic year, I am not going to solve that one. You can try yourself, but for examination purpose, that is not important. Okay. Now we are going to discuss question number 15. Question number 15 is by the value of sine square theta plus 1 by 1 plus tan square theta. Okay, that is we have to get it. So sine square theta, just to keep it as it is, sine square theta plus 1 by 1 plus tan square theta is the identity that 1 plus tan square theta is equal to sec square theta. That is the second identity we have learned in the chapter trigonometry. So then that is equal to sine square theta plus what is the reciprocal of sec? Sec is the reciprocal of cos. Am I right? So obviously the reciprocal of sec will be cos. So 1 by sec square theta will be cos square theta. We have one more identity, that is sine square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. So therefore the value of this is 1. Clear? Okay. So two identities we have used. One is we have used 1 plus tan square theta is equal to sec square theta. Then we converted this sec into cos. Again we applied here the second identity, that is sine square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. So the value of this expression is 1. Now come to the question number 16. The ratio of the length of the vertical rod and its length of its shadow. There is a vertical rod and its shadow. Shadow will be always horizontal. Length of this is pole. Okay. Then this will be right angle. Okay. The ratio is given that, let's join this one. Okay. AB like that. Just to draw. Now I need to draw the triangle. Just for understanding, I am here drawing the triangle. The ratio of the length of vertical rod, that is AB by BC is equal to, the ratio is 1 is to 3, root 3, that is AB is 1 by root 3. Clear? What is actually this AB by BC? AB by BC, what is the question? What define the angle of elevation of the sun at that moment? Suppose here it is sun, we are imagining that this will be the angle of elevation of the sun. Clear? Theta. So here actually this AB by BC is actually the opposite side opposite to this angle by the adjacent side. That means this is actually tan theta. The ratio is actually tan theta. Clear? So if tan theta is equal to 1 by root 3, then obviously theta is equal to 30 degree, since tan 30 is equal to 1 by root 3. So for solving this question, we need to know the value of trigonometric ratios of specific angles. We all know that tan 30 is the 1 by root 3. Then if we have given the relation that 1 by root 3 is equal to tan theta, then obviously theta should be 30 degree, because we are studying the values of trigonometric ratio between 0 and 90 only. Okay. Now come to the question number 17. What is question number 17? State that two cones have their height in the ratio 1 is to 3, that is h1 by h2 is equal to 1 by 3. Okay, keep it as, and their radii in the ratio, that is r1 by r2 is equal to 3 is to 1. Okay, then what is the ratio of their volume? So here it is very simple one, that what is the ratio of volume? We can easily calculate. What is the volume formula of the cone? 1 by 3 pi r1 square h1. divided by the volume of the second one is 1 by 3 pi r2 square into h2. 1 by 3 pi is common, cancel it. R1 by R2 square is there, am I right? R1 by, that is simplified into R1 by because R1 square by R2 square, we can write R1 by R2 whole square into H1 by H2. What is this? I am writing here, okay? What is R1 by R2? That is equal to 3 by 3 is to 1. Am I right? Sorry, 3 is to 1, we can write 3 by 1. So 3 by 1 whole square into, what is H1 by H2? That is 1 by 3. Which is equal to 3 square is 9, 9 by 1 into 1 by 3. Solving this, what we will get here? 9 into 1, 9 by 3. 1 cancel, 9 by 3, that is equal to 3, and in denominator 1 is there. So the ratio is equal to 3 is to 1. You have to write like this. Okay. So this types of question also very common in all the years. This type of question is used to ask that the ratio of the height or radius or something will be given. Or ratio of the surface area will be given, you have to find the ratio of the volume, or ratio of the volume will be given, ratio of the surface area you have to find. So just to practice these types of question more, okay? One question will be based on this concept of finding the ratio of particular quantity by giving the ratio of another quantity of the same type of solids, okay? Now come to the question number 18. A letter of English alphabet is chosen at random. What is the probability that chosen letter is consonant? We all know that how many vowels are there? 5 vowels and 21 consonants. Clear? So number of our favorable outcome is equal to, the probability we are calculating that number of favorable outcomes to get that event divided by total number of all possible outcomes. How many events are there? How many consonants are there? 21 consonants. That is a number of favorable outcome to get a consonant. And divided by total number of all possible outcome is total number of the letters in the English alphabet, that is 26. So the answer is 21 by 26. Now come to the question number 19. Question number 19, it is stated that a die is thrown. What is the probability of getting a number less than 3? So what are the numbers marked on the face of the die? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So there are total 6 faces are there, that means 6 numbers are there. Out of this 6 numbers, there are 2 numbers, 1 and 2 are less than 3. So the number of favorable outcomes to get less than 3, that is 2. 1, 2 numbers. Divided by how many total numbers are there? How many? That is 6 numbers. That means number of all possible outcome is equal to 6. 2 by 6 cancel, 2 is common, so we will get 1 by 3. So here we need to understand, when we attend the question, we need to first write a number of favorable outcomes equal to dash. Then number of all possible outcome equal to dash. Then write the probability of the event. You have to write in bracket like a probability of getting a number less than 3. Less than 3. Like that you have to mention instead of this. Then write the formula, just put the value. This is the way you are going to answer. So here I am not writing the proper steps. Just writing the short way of answer, okay? But when you attend the examination, you need to write the proper steps for showing the answer clearly. Now, one more option is there here. Optional question is there for the under the same question that if the probability of the winning a event which is equal to 0.07, then we have to find that probability of not winning, that is not E, which also known as probability of the complementary event. What is the formula? We have learned that one. For that, we have learned that is probability of complementary event, that is equal to 1 minus probability of that particular event, which is equal to 1 minus, what is the probability of that particular event? That means probability of winning, which is equal to 0.07. 1 minus 0.07 is equal to 0.93. Clear? So this is we need to remember the formula probability of a complementary event, that is P naught E, P bar or P naught E, which is equal to 1 minus P of event. This question can be asked in reverse way also. Not E will be given, you have to find that event. So depend on the question. Okay. Now come to the last question under 1 mark section, that is question number 20. It is stated that mean of the first n natural number is 15, then find n. So mean is given that 15. What is the formula of calculating mean? Mean is equal to sum of all the observation divided by number of observation. That means sum of the all first n natural numbers divided by number of natural numbers. What is the sum of the first n natural number? We have learned from the chapter arithmetic progression, that is equal to n into n plus 1 by 2. Okay, the formula is given in the textbook, divided by number of natural numbers, which is equal to 15. Here this n is cancelled, the 2 take into here, so what we will get here, 2 take into here, and then n plus 1 is equal to 2 into 15, am I right? That implies n is equal to 15 into 2 is 30, plus 1 will become minus 1, which is equal to 29. So the value of n, there are 20, the value of n is 29. That means sum of first 29 natural number, mean of first 29 natural number is equal to 15. Okay. So to solve this question, we need to know what is mean and what is the sum of first 10 natural numbers. So there are some questions which you need to know more than different concept from different chapters to solve a single question. Okay. Now come to the question number 21, which is under the section B. This question is carrying 2 marks. Here first one is show that question. This question is given that these are the three, if these are the, show that these are the 3 terms of the AP, consecutive terms of the AP. For that, the difference between the 3 consecutive terms always equal. So let's consider these 3 number expressions are the consecutive terms of the AP, like A1, A2, A3. If these are the expression or terms of the AP, then the condition should satisfy that there should be a common difference between the consecutive terms, that is A2 minus A1 is equal to A3 minus A2. So first let's start with the A2 minus A1. What is A2 minus A1? That is equal to A2 is this one. So A square plus B square minus A1 is A minus B whole square, which is equal to A square plus B square minus A minus B whole square. Expand by using algebraic identity, that is A square plus B square minus 2AB. Am I right? Minus 2AB we will get here. Then A square minus A square is there cancelled. B square and minus B square cancelled. Minus of minus 2AB is equal to plus 2AB. Clear. Now come to this part, RHS, that is A3 minus A2 is equal to what we will get here, A3 minus A2, that is A plus B whole square, A plus B whole square minus A square plus B square, which is equal to, what is A plus B whole square is A square plus B square plus 2AB minus of A square minus of B square, plus A square minus A square plus B square minus B square, which is equal to 2AB. So here we have got that according to our condition that the difference between these 2 consecutive terms are equal, that is there is a common difference, therefore these are the terms of NAP. First you have to write, let this A1 be this, A2 be like that. Okay, for prove that question you need to clearly mention all the things which we are going to assign and assume. Now come to the question number 22. Here, given that DE is parallel to AC, DE parallel to AC and DC parallel to DC, DC is parallel to AP. What we need to prove that BE by EC is equal to BC by CP. Clear? So this question is based on basic proportionality theorem. So first let's apply basic proportionality theorem in triangle ABP. In triangle ABP, what is given here? DE is equal to AC. DE is equal to, not DE is equal to AC, DE parallel to AC. So if these 2 lines are parallel, then this 2 will be divided. If a line parallel to the third side, then that line will divide the other 2 sides in the same ratio according to basic proportionality theorem or theorem 6.1. Therefore, BE by EC is equal to BD by DA by using basic proportionality theorem, equation number 1. Okay. Now come to the triangle ABP. In triangle ABP, we have, in triangle ABP, what we have? We have this DC parallel to AP. Already given that DC parallel to AP. DC is parallel to AP. Then DC parallel to AP. Then we can say that DC is parallel to AP. Therefore, BC by CP. Clear? BC by CP is equal to same BD by AD. BD by AD or DA by using basic proportionality theorem equation 2. By comparing this equation 1 and 2, from equation 1 and 2 we will have LHS or here the RHS of this equation equal and here also RHS equal. So as the RHS of both equations equal, LHS also equal. So from equation number 1 and 2 we can write that BE by EC is equal to BC by CP. That is what we need to prove. Very simple question. This is, I think, in textbook also similar question is given. Now the OR option, internal option of the same question, that is question from the chapter circle. Here it is given that TP and TQ are tangents. TP and TQ are tangents, so they are equal because the two tangents drawn from the same point are equal according to theorem 10.2 or 10.2. I am not remembering the name of that one, but on theorem stated. Okay, so these two tangents are equal. As these two are equal in triangle TPQ, these two angles are equal. Am I right? Because they are angle opposite to the equal sides. Because it is become an isosceles triangle. What is we need to prove? Angle PTQ. This angle we have to prove. Okay, angle PTQ is equal to 2 into angle OPQ. So first let's angle OPQ is equal to theta. Then therefore we can write angle TPQ. Angle TPQ is equal to angle TQP. Angle TQP, both angles, is equal to 90 minus theta. Why 90 minus theta? Because we already learned that tangent makes 90 degree with the radius passing through that point. Clear? So that means the total angle will be 90 degree according to the theorem 10.1. Yes, if I am not mistaken. Then as this is theta, then this remaining angle will be total 90 minus this angle theta. So these two angles will become 90 minus theta. Is this is 90, then this also 90 minus theta. That is why we are to 90 minus theta. Now come to the triangle TPQ. In triangle TPQ, first one angle PTQ, we are writing angle PTQ plus, here two angles are there, angle TPQ plus angle TQP. Both angles are 90 degree. Both angles are 90 minus theta. So we can write 2 into 90 minus theta. Clear? Which is equal to 180 degree. Because according to angle sum property of the triangle, we have to mention the theorem number or name anything. Okay, tangent theorem or something you should mention why this condition we have got. Then therefore angle PTQ is equal to 2 into 90 minus theta is there, right? Which is equal to this all taken to here, so 180. 2 into plus 2 into 90 will be minus 2 into 90, that is minus 180. Plus 2 into minus theta is minus 2 theta. Minus 2 theta taken to right side will be plus 2 theta. Cancel, which is equal to 2 theta. Thus, angle PTQ is equal to, what is 2 into, what is theta? Theta is equal to angle OTQ. OPQ. So this is the prove that question. So I have not written properly. I am just explaining how this is coming. You just write the correct theorems and you need to mention the theorem number or name. Okay. How did you go to this one? Given that a system, okay, rod of CTV like that. The length of the AC is given 1.5 meter and the length of CD is 3 meter. We have to find the value of tan theta. First question is find the value of tan theta. So for this types of question, we can approach in both way. Either we can apply the Pythagoras theorem to find this side, so that we will get opposite and adjacent side. Opposite by adjacent side. But for this question, let's check it with whether we will be able to find the theta by using the given sides. For that, let's take the, here it is opposite side is given, hypotenuse also given. This is 90 degree. It is also mentioned in the question. Clear? Then here AC is 1.5 centimeter. So what we have here, sine theta we can easily obtain. Okay, we have that sine theta is equal to 1.5 by 3, which is equal to 1 by 2. Opposite by hypotenuse. Sine theta is equal to 1 by 2. What is the meaning of that? That implies theta is equal to 30. Why? Since sine 30 is equal to 1 by 2. So theta is equal to 30 degree we have got. Therefore tan theta is equal to tan 30, which is equal to 1 by root 3. We have already the value of tan 30. Now come to the second option. What is that? Sec theta plus cosec theta. Sec theta plus cosec theta. What is sec theta? That is sec 30 plus cosec 30. Sec 30 is equal to cos 30 is cos 30 is root 3 by 2. So sec 30 is 2 by root 3 plus cosec 30 is equal to sin 30 is 1 by 2. So cosec 30 will be 2 by 1. Add it, we will get 2 plus 2 root 3 divided by root 3. Rationalize the denominator by multiplying root 3 and dividing by multiplying numerator and denominator by root 3. So what we will get here? 2 root 3 plus 2 root 3 into root 3 will be 2 into 3. Divided by root 3 into root 3 will be 3. 2 is common, take it outside. 2 into root 3 plus 3 will be remaining here, and denominator 1 more 3 is there. Okay, so it's better always rationalize the denominator if you get a number is in irrational form. That is better. Now come to the question number 24. A length of wire of length 22 centimeter is made into in the form of arc which makes 60 degree at the center. Okay, then what we have to find? We need to find the radius of this arc. That is the thing we have to find, I think. Yes, radius, not arc, radius of the circle. Okay, is bent into the form of circle. This wire is bent into the form of circle. Okay, an arc of circle, not a circle. Okay, so we have to find this radius of the circle. For that, what is the length of arc formula? Theta by 360 into theta by 360 into 2 pi r is equal to length of the arc. Length of arc. The formula we have learned in the chapter 12. Then theta is 60 degree is given that 60 by 360 into 2 into pi value we can use it is 22 by 7, which is already mentioned in the question. Into radius we have to find. The length of the arc is 22. 22 is on common side, so just to cancel it. 0 is cancelled. 6 by 6 is there. I can cancel 3. So therefore r is equal to 22 cancels, so 1 into this denominator 3 will be on numerator, denominator 7 also numerator. That is equal to 21 centimeter. Clear? This types of question used to ask. These all questions are carrying 2 marks. Now come to the question number 25. That is a question asking from the chapter probability. What is it is said that there are 6 numbers given -3, -2, -1, 0 and 1, 2, 3. There are, sorry, not 6, 7 numbers are given. And if a number x is chosen from this set of numbers, what is the probability that x square is less than or equal to 4? So we have to calculate the probability of that event, which is equal to what is the number of all possible outcomes? There are several outcomes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are total of 7 numbers. Therefore, number of all possible outcomes is equal to 7. Now, number of favorable outcomes we have to get. That means which are the numbers have the square of that is greater than or less than and equal to 4. So for that, let's take the square of all these numbers. What is the square of minus 3? Minus 3, that will be 9. Square of minus 2 is 4. Square of minus 1 is 1. Square of 0 is 0. And the square of 1 is 1. Square of 2 is 4. Square of 3 is minus 3. 9. Okay. Then out of these 7 numbers, minus the square of minus 3 and minus 3 are 9, which is greater than 4. But for other 5 numbers, these all five numbers from minus 2 to 2, their square are equal to 4 or less than 4. For a square of minus 2 and 2 are equal to 4, it is satisfying this condition equal to 4. And the square of these 3 numbers are less than 4, which also satisfying this. If we are choosing a number from 5 of these, any one of these 5, then the square of those 5 numbers will be less than or equal to 4. So number of favorable outcomes will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 by 7 is the answer. Okay. Now come to the question number 26. Here the class is given and corresponding frequency is given. And this is the last question under section B. We have to find the mean of the data. We are using here direct method as the size of the digit of the class in limits of classes are very small one, from 3 to 13 only. So we are using direct method. If it is 2-digit numbers like 20, 30, 40 like that, then we can go for assumed mean method. And the step deviation method is deleted from your syllabus. Now, first of all, we need to find the class mark. Class mark means the middlemost value of a class. That means upper limit plus lower limit divided by 2 will give the class mark. Clear? This is the formula we already need to know to find the xi. Xi is the class mark here. So what is the upper limit here? 3. Okay. Upper limit of the class is 3 plus lower limit is 5 divided by 2, which is equal to 8 by 2 is 4. That is minute value, between the value. Now here it will be 6. 4 plus, the size of the class is 2. So 4 plus 2 is 6, 6 plus 2 is 8, 8 plus 2 is 10, 10 plus 2 is 12. So here, either we can find separately the middle value here. By logically, because of simple numbers, we can logically get the middle value. Either we can find direct separately by calculating using this formula, or find the class mark of first one, and if the size of the classes are equal, then just add the class size to the previous one, so that we will get the all class marks. In any way we can do. Now fi into xi, that is the fourth column. So what is fi? Fi is 5. 5 into 4 is equal to 20. Here 10 into 6 is equal to 60. 8 into 10 80. 10 into 7 70. 12 into 8 is equal to 96. Clear? Then what is sigma fi? The formula here, sigma fi xi is equal to, first we are calculating this one. As the tens digit are, ones digits are 0, so just directly calculating all this. Here we will get a 8 plus 8 is 16, 16 plus 7 is equal to 20, 16 plus 7 is equal to 23, that means 230. 230 plus 96 is equal to 6. 9 plus 3 is equal to 12, 326. So sigma fi xi is equal to 326. Clear? 326 we have got. Now sigma fi, I think it is not given in the question, so we have to find separately. 5 plus 15, 15 plus 10, 25. 25 plus 7 is equal to 32, 32 plus 8 is equal to 40. So sigma fi is equal to 40. What is the formula of mean? Mean is equal to sigma fi xi divided by sigma fi. Am I right? Which is equal to, what is the sigma fi xi? We have got it at 326 divided by sigma fi is equal to 40. Dividing these numbers, we will get the answer as 8.5 as a mean. Okay, or internal option is given for this question. Here we have to find the mode of the data. So for calculating the mode, we don't need to draw any table for that. And here I just made the question. You don't need to draw the table for calculating mode in the answer paper, but the table is given horizontally. So I just made it to vertical because no space. Okay, we don't need to make any table for this one. So for calculating mode, first we have to locate the model class. So model class is the class with a greater frequency or highest frequency. So observing these frequencies, we can get that 12 is the highest frequency. So the corresponding class is the model class, a class with the greatest frequency. That means the model class is 60 to 80. So now what is the formula? We have that mod is equal to L plus F1 minus F0 divided by 2 F1 minus F0 minus F2 into H. Clear? Then we can find these variables based on this with reference to model class. What is L? L is the lower limit of the model class, that is 60. And what is F1? F1 is the frequency of the model class, that is 12. And F0 is the frequency of class preceding the model class. So class before the model class is 40 to 60, its frequency is 10. And F2 is the frequency of class succeeding the model class, that is the frequency just after the frequency a class just after the model class, that is 80 to 100. Its frequency is 6. What is H? Size of the class interval. Here directly by observation we can observe that the size of class interval is 20. Now just to put those values here, L is 60 plus F1 is 12 minus F0 is 10 divided by 60 plus 2 into F1 is 12 minus F0 is 10 minus F2 is 6 into H is equal to 20. That is equal to 60 plus 12 minus 20 is 12 minus 10 is 2 divided by 24. 24 minus 10 is 14. 14 minus 6 is 8. 8 into 20. Okay. That is equal to 60 plus 2 into 20, 40. 40 by 8 is equal to 5. So the answer will become 65. Here find the quadratic polynomial whose zeros are the reciprocals of the zeros of the polynomial f of x is equal to ax square plus bx plus c, where a not equal to 0, c not equal to 0. We have to find a quadratic polynomial whose zeros, that polynomial, the zeros of that polynomial we are going to find should be the reciprocals of the zeros of the given polynomial. So from this we can find the sum of the zeros is equal to minus b by a. We have that relation. Also the product of 0 is equal to product of first and last term, that is c by e. Clear? Now according to the given condition, what we have to get it? The zeros of that given polynomial should be reciprocals of this 0. That means 1 by alpha and 1 by beta. The zeros of the new polynomial are 1 by alpha and 1 by beta. Then sum of the zeros of the polynomial will be 1 by alpha plus 1 by beta. Clear? Which is equal to alpha plus beta divided by, alpha plus beta divided by alpha beta. So the sum of the zeros of new polynomial we have got it as alpha plus beta divided by alpha beta, which is equal to, what is alpha plus beta given according to the f of x, that is minus b by a, and divided by alpha into beta. What is alpha into beta is given c by a. So divided means multiply by reciprocal. A cancel, b we got it minus b by c. Clear? Then the product of zeros will be 1 by alpha into 1 by beta. Clear? Product of zeros of the new polynomial will be 1 by alpha into 1 by beta, that is equal to 1 by alpha into beta. What is alpha into beta here according to the c by e for this polynomial? So 1 by alpha beta is taking the reciprocal, so we will get a by c. Now the new polynomial will become, we can give it as p of x. Okay, new polynomial p of x will be, what is the general form we have learned, that is x square minus alpha plus beta, or sum of the zeros of the polynomial, that is 1 by alpha plus 1 by beta into x plus 1 by alpha into beta. Clear? Why this 1 by alpha into beta is? Because sum of the zeros into x plus product of the zeros. Okay. then that is equal to x square minus, what is the sum of the zeros we have got it, minus b by c minus b by c, okay, minus b by c x plus alpha beta we have got, that is a by c. Clear? So final answer we will get x square minus of minus b will be plus b by c x plus a by c. Now here denominator consists of c, so we can write it as c multiply with the c, so that this c will be cancelled each other. Okay, that means what is the general exact equation will be on k will be there here. So put k equal to c, we will get a here c into x plus b by c x plus a by c. C here will be the cx plus this c will be cancelled bx, okay, plus a. This is the quadratic polynomial we have get, that is, oh sorry, x square, okay, x square is the x square plus bx plus a, that is the final answer. Okay, so you don't need to write like this, even if you are writing like this also answer is right. Now one more question is given for this question number 27, that is regarding with the division algorithm of polynomial. So actually this question is this portion is deleted, so we are not going to discuss that one. Okay. Now next question is determine graphically the coordinates of the vertices of triangle of the equation whose sides are given by 2y, question number 28. 2y minus x equal to 8. Then the second equation is 5y minus x equal to 14, and the third equation is y minus 2x is equal to 1. There are three equations given. We have to find the graph of the triangle formed by these three lines. Okay, so here first of all we need to find two values for each graph. Okay, two coordinates or 2 points on the each graph we have to find it. Okay, first one is x value. Okay, this one will be x value. This upper side we are finding x value. Lower one is y value. So for this, first I am going to put x equal to 0. So when x equal to 0, we can see that 2y is equal to 8. This will be 0. 2y is equal to 8 means y will be 4. Clear? Similarly, put y equal to 0, then this entire term will be 0. Okay? Then minus x equal to 8, therefore x equal to, sorry, y equal to 0 means we are going to put here, then x equal to minus 8. Always put first we will put x equal to 0, so we will get the corresponding y value, y coordinate. Similarly, put y coordinate equal to 0, then we will get corresponding x coordinate. And come to the second question here. When we put x equal to 0, we will get the equation as 5y is equal to 14 and y equal to 14 by 5. So it is a fraction. So to avoid fraction, let's put y equal to 1. Okay, sorry, x equal to 1. So when x equal to 1, we can see that 5y minus 1 is equal to 14. 5y is equal to 14 plus 1 will be 15. Y is equal to 3. Okay, y is equal to 5 here, take into here, so it will be 15 by 5 is equal to 3. So we get y equal to 3. The next coordinate we have to find, that one is put x equal to 2 means it will be again fraction. So what we have to do is that put y equal to 2. Put y equal to 2, what we will get here? 5 into 2 minus x is equal to 14. Clear? Then minus x is equal to 14 minus plus 10 will be minus 10. Then x is equal to 14 minus 10 is 4. Minus taking here, so it will be minus 4. Okay? So for second equation also we got 2 points. And for this equation we can put x equal to 0 directly, so that this entire term will be 0, y will be 1. And here put next to y equal to 0, so we will get a minus 2x equal to 1, and it will be a fraction. So it's better put to avoid the fraction, let's put a y equal to 2. Then what will be again? Put a y equal to 3. Then 3 take into, so we will put a when y equal to 3, what we will get here? 3 minus 2x is equal to 1, minus 2x is equal to 1 minus 3, which is equal to minus 2. Therefore, x is equal to minus 2 by minus 2, we will get a 1. Clear? So, x equal to 1. So, now we have got 2 points for each equation. Now, we can draw the graph of the equation what is the range of this value? Minus 82, 0. Minus 82 plus 4. So draw the graph according to that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, x value is minus 8. So its coordinate should be here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6, minus 7, minus 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So all positive values are the maximum value of positive coordinate is plus 4. And x coordinate is also maximum 1, so that is enough. Now come to the first one. When x equal to 0, this is the x coordinate, this is the y coordinate. When x equal to 0, y equal to 4. So this is the first point. Okay. Next one, y equal to 0, x equal to minus 8. 0, minus 8. Sorry, x equal to 0. Here is actually so yeah, this is correct, x coordinate is 0 here, y coordinate is 0, so minus 8 comma 0. Joining this, we will get the graph of first one. Clear? Now come to the second one. When x equal to 1, when x equal to 1, y equal to 3. So the point will be here. Okay? Then this is the point when x equal to 1, y equal to 3. Then when x equal to minus 4, y equal to 2. So the point will be here. So joining this, we will get another graph like this. Okay. Then you have to draw the appropriate graph by using the scale. Okay. You have to make this all distance between each consecutive points are equal. Marked by scale. Otherwise, you will not get the appropriate graph. Here I am just showing how to draw this graph. Okay. Now come to the third one. When x equal to 0, y equal to 1. So this is the point. And when x equal to 1, y equal to 3. So this is the point. So we will get a graph like this. Joining this, we can get that 3 vertices here, 3 intersecting point of 3 graphs. This will be the vertices. These 3 points will be the vertices of the triangle formed by this. My graph is not appropriate. According to the question, it is first coordinate here. We will get it as actually minus for second graph minus 4 and 2. So my graphing is not appropriate one. Point should be here. Okay, graph should pass through like this, not like this. Minus 4 and 2. Okay, now it is correct. The points we are getting here, that is minus 4 and 2. Here it will be intersected. The second point we will get it as that this will be 2 comma 5, almost it is 5. Okay, 2 comma 5. Okay, 2 comma 5, but it should be accurate when we draw the graph. And here it is third point is given that answer is 2 comma 5, then 1 comma 3. Here it is 1 comma 3. Both values are intersecting here 1 comma 3. So 1 comma 3. So this is the graph of the equation. So this is, you already know how to draw the graph. Because of that, I am not going to explain detail. This types of question is that is find the coordinates of the vertices of the triangle formed by the graph of 3 equations. Clear? Here question number 30. If C is a point divides internally the line segment joining A and B in the ratio 3:4, find the coordinates of the B. Very simple question. Just apply the section formula. Here it is given that ratio m1 is to m2 is equal to 3 is to 4. Am I right? That implies m1 is equal to 3 and m2 is equal to 4. Now write the coordinates x2, x1 like that. x1 is equal to 2, x2 is equal to 5, sorry, x, and y1 is equal to 5 and y2 is equal to y. What is the formula we have to find the coordinates of the dividing point? That is c comma minus 1 2 will be equal to, that is minus 1 comma is equal to, what is the section formula? m1 into x2 plus m2 into x1 divided by m1 plus m2, comma m1 into y2 plus m2 into y1 divided by m1 plus m2. Then minus 1 will be with this one and minus 2 equated with this one. That is the corresponding y coordinate and this is the corresponding x coordinate. Then we will get what is m1? m1 is equal to 3. So 3 into x2 is x plus m2 is 4. 4 into x1 is equal to 2. Divided by m1 plus m2 is 3 plus 4, which is equal to minus 1. Solving this equation, what we will get here? 3x plus 8 is equal to minus 1 into 3 plus 4 is 7. That is 3x is equal to minus 7 plus 8 will be minus 8. That implies x is equal to minus 7 minus 8 is equal to minus 15 and into 3 will be here divided by 3. Minus 15 by 3 is equal to minus 5. So x coordinate is minus 5. Now come to the y coordinate value. m1 is 3 into y2 is equal to y plus m2 is equal to 4. 4 into y1 is equal to 5 divided by m1 plus m2, that is 3 plus 4 is equal to the corresponding y value is here 2. So 3, that implies 3y is equal to 3y plus 4 into 5 is 20 is equal to 2 into 3 plus 4 is 7. Take it to here. Then 3y is equal to 2 into 7 is 14 minus 20 plus 20 is minus 20. That implies y is equal to 14 minus 20 is equal to minus 6 divided by 3, which is equal to minus 2. So the coordinates of B is minus 5 comma minus 2. So this is the answer. Now come to the question number 31. Here it is given that angle D is equal to angle E. These two angles equal and AD by DB is equal to AE by EC. Prove that BAC is an isosceles triangle. BAC is an isosceles triangle. That is what we need to prove. Okay. BAC means the entire triangle. So here given that angle E is equal to angle D. Okay. That implies AD is equal to AE. Why AD is equal to AE? Because if these two angles are equal, then the angle opposite to these two equal angles, the side opposite to these two equal angles are equal, because triangle AD is an isosceles one. Okay, angle opposite to side opposite to equal angles. Now also given that AD by DB is equal to AE by EC. Out of this, AD and AE are equal. AD and AE are equal. So obviously denominator also equal. Okay. So we have these two equal. So the numerator of these both equation are equal. So obviously denominator is equal. That implies DB is equal to EC. Okay. You have to write separately the statement. Okay. Then just what is to get this is an isosceles triangle, we have to get AB is equal to AC. So what is AB actually? AD plus DB. So just to add equation, this is equation 1 and this is equation 2. Adding equation 1 and 2, what we will get? AD plus DB is equal to AE plus EC. Okay. What is AD plus DB? AD plus DB is equal to AB. AE plus EC is equal to AC. Therefore, if AB is equal to AC, then triangle BAC is an isosceles triangle. Okay, so we have to write the proper steps. Okay, I'm just explaining how to solve this question. Now, question number 32. 32 is actually out of the syllabus because that is the proof of theorem 6.9, which is deleted. That proof of the theorem 6.9 is deleted for this year, so I'm not going to solve it. But that theorem is not deleted. Okay, there will be some questions based on that theorem, but it is asking that in a triangle, if the square of one side is equal to something, you have to prove that theorem 6.9, but that is deleted. Now come to the question number 33. Given that here we need to prove that tan theta plus cot theta is equal to 1 if sin theta plus cos theta is equal to root 3. So here we have to remove this irrational one. So for that, squaring on both sides of this equation. So what we will get during the squaring time, sin theta plus cos theta whole square is equal to root 3 whole square. Clear? Now a plus b whole square expansion expanded. What we will get here? Sine square theta plus cos square theta plus 2 cos theta sin theta. 2 cos theta sin theta. Alright? Theta is equal to root 3 whole square is 3. Okay? Now what is sin square theta plus cos square theta, which is equal to 1. 1 plus 2 cos theta sin theta is equal to 3. Why? Since sin square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. Clear? Then we have that 2 cos theta sin theta is equal to 3 plus 1 will be minus 1. Clear? That is equal to 2. Implies cos theta sin theta is equal to 2 divided by 2, which is equal to 1. So now we have the relation of, from this relation we obtain cos theta sin theta is equal to 1. Now we can simplify further. Now come to this one. We have tan theta plus cot theta is equal to 1. Okay. What is right here? We have the relation cos in terms of cos and sin. So write tan and cot in terms of sin and cos. What is tan theta? Sin theta plus, sorry, sin theta by cos theta plus cot theta is cos theta by sin theta. Okay. We have to prove this one, so we are taking this one. Okay, let's just. Then just square it, add it, or taking LCM. Sin theta into sin theta is sin square theta plus cos theta into cos theta is cos square theta divided by cos theta sin theta. Cos theta sin theta. That implies what is sin square theta plus cos square theta? That is 1 divided by cos theta sin theta is actually we already proved that is 1. Since cos square theta plus sin square theta is equal to 1 and cos theta sin theta is equal to 1, which is already proved here. Then 1 by 1 is equal to 1. Clear? So this is the very important question. This types of question used to ask. If one relation is given and another relation is, sometimes it is used to ask root 2 or like that. They just square it so that the irrational term will be eliminated. Now come to question number 34, that is deleted from your syllabus, that is related to first term of the cone. Okay, so I'm not going to solve that. Next question, section D. In section D, first question is actually related to Euclid division algorithm. So that is also deleted from your syllabus. So I'm not going to solve that one. Next, we come to the question number 36. The sum of four consecutive terms in an AP is 32, and the ratio of the product of first and last term to the product of two middle terms is 7:15. Find the numbers. So here, sum of that four consecutive numbers are. So let's consider the four consecutive numbers. A, the general form we are writing it as. Okay, if it is given nothing about the numbers, so just write A plus B, A plus 2D, A plus 3D, etc. And here the term will be A minus B, A minus 2d, a minus 3d. And if the number of terms given as even, then take the alternative one. So here we will get a, don't take this a, so instead of that we are taking this one, alternative ones. If the number of terms are even, if the because in this question 4 terms are there, 4 consecutive terms are, that means 4 is even. So we are taking this alternative ones. If the number of terms are odd, then take the continuous one, middlemost numbers, including a. Okay, for example, if it is given that sum of 3 numbers means you can take like this, a plus b and a minus b. Clear? But if it is given that even number of consecutive terms, then take the alternative ones after writing like this. So here these are the terms a minus 3, a minus b, a plus b. These are the 4 terms we are going to take here. A minus b, a minus b, a plus b and a plus 3d. Okay. So this is the, we are assigning our 4 terms as this in general form instead of a and a minus b in one direction. Now come to the question, sum of these numbers is equal to 32. That means a plus b, a plus 3d, first condition is sum of 4 terms is equal to 32. That is a minus 3d plus a minus d plus a plus b plus a plus 3d is equal to 32. Here plus 3d is the minus 3d cancelled, minus d plus d cancelled. That is a plus is equal to 4a is equal to 32. That implies a is equal to 8. 32 by 4. So the value of a we are taking. This is not the first term. This a is not actually the first term. Okay. This a is actually to substitute here to get exact numbers after getting the value of this d. And the second condition is the ratio of product of first and last terms. Product of first and last term is this, a plus a minus 3d into a plus 3d to the product of two middlemost term, that is a minus d into a plus 3d, sorry, a plus d, which is given that 7 is to 15, that is 7 by 15. Now here this is the form of x minus y into x plus y form, both the numerator and denominator. So x minus y into x plus y is equal to x square minus y square. Okay. So just apply that identity. So what we will get here, that implies we will get a square minus 3d whole square divided by a square minus d square. X plus y into x minus y into x plus y is equal to x square minus y square, which is equal to 7 by 15. Okay. Then here a square minus d square is there. Here a square minus 3d square is there. Then here cross multiply we will get 15 into a square minus 3 square is 9 d square, which is equal to 7 into a square minus 7 into d square. Okay. Then this is a. Then what we will get here? 15 a square is the 7 a square. We have to get it the d square. So for that, we are taking this a square terms here and d square to here. So what we will get? Minus 15 into minus 9 is equal to 15 into 9 is 5 into 45, 4, 9, 135 minus 135 d square. Then 7 into minus d square is minus 7 d square. Minus 7 d square take into here, it will be plus 7 d square. Clear? Which is equal to, here 7 a square is there and 15 plus 15 plus 15 a square is there, that will be minus 15 a square. Minus 35, 135 and plus 7 will be equal to minus 128 d square. Am I right? Minus 128 d square is equal to 7 minus 15 is equal to minus 8 into a square. Okay, 8 a square. Minus is cancelled. That implies d square is equal to 8 into a square is 8 square divided by 128. 128 is actually 2 into 64. 2 into 64. A square is 64. So this a square and here 164 cancel 2. Okay. Then 8 by 2 is equal to 4. So d square is equal to 4. That implies d is equal to, taking the square root of 4, we will get a plus or minus 2. So now we have the value of a is equal to, d is equal to plus or minus 2 and a equal to 8. So for putting those values here, what we will get here, a is equal to 8. So the first term will be a minus 3d. A minus 3d is equal to, we are considering when d equal to 2, okay, then we can go for d equal to minus 2. A is 8, 8 minus 3 into d is equal to 2, which is 8 minus 6 is equal to, what we will get, 8 minus 6 is 2, okay. Next a minus d, that is the second term, that is equal to 8 is 8, a is 8 minus d is 2, which is equal to 6. Now the third term is a plus b. A plus b is equal to, a is 8 plus b is equal to 2, which is equal to 10. Similarly, the fourth term, that is a plus 3d. A plus 3d, that where a is equal to 8 plus 3 into d is equal to 2. 8 plus 6, 3 into 2 is 6. So that is equal to 14. Similar way, if you are giving the value for d equal to minus 2, same answer we will get. The order of the numbers will be reversed. Here we have got 2, 6, 10, 14. When we putting the value d equal to minus 2, we will get 14, 10, 6, 12, like that. But numbers are same. Okay, so that is a question. That is very, very important question. Usually, this question is repeated in many years. This is actually the question from NCERT example. Solve for x. That means we have to find the value of x. This is actually question from arithmetic progression. This is the question or option for question number 36. Then here sum of the series is given, that is 287. That is Sn is given 287. X is the nth term or last term. That is n, we have to find it. N is equal to x. So by giving Sn, we need to find the n. That is all. So for finding the nth term, we need to know how many terms are there here. That is n we have to find. So to find n by using Sn formula, it is very easy. Just to put the values in the Sn formula, that is n by 2 into 2a plus n minus 1 into d. Okay, which is equal to 287. Now this 2 take into here, so n into 2 into what is a? A is the first term, that is 1 plus n minus 1 into, what is the common difference here? Okay, the difference between each consecutive terms are 3, which is equal to 287 into 2. N into 2 plus 3n minus 1 minus 3 into 1 is 3, which is equal to 287 into 2 is equal to 574. Then 2n, okay, let's again simplify inside it. N into 3n, first multiply this one, so 3n square, okay, plus here 2 minus 3 into minus 1. Minus 1 into n is minus n, which is equal to this minus plus 574 taken into here, so it will be minus 574 is equal to 0. Now we have got a quadratic equation in terms of n. Solve this quadratic equation, we will get the value of n by any appropriate method, that is either quadratic formula or factorization. So n is equal to 15. I am not going to discuss the how to find the solution of quadratic equation. Then come to the an formula, that is an is, here we have to find that x. Okay, so x is equal to 14th term we have to find, that is n is equal to 14 means x is the last term, so which means x is the 14th term, which is equal to what is a plus 1. The general formula of a is equal to a plus n minus 1 into d. In this formula we are going to substitute the value. So 1 plus a is 1 plus n is 14 minus 1 into d is 3. That is 1 plus 14 minus 1 is 13. 13 into 3 is equal to 39. That is equal to 14. Okay. Now come to the question number 37, that is construction. So you can do yourself, okay? That is construction. The question asking from the chapter construction is very simple one. So just to practice the textbook construction. Remember, construction of similar triangles are deleted from the syllabus. Now come to the 38. Question number 38 is the question which is from application of trigonometry. A vertical tower stands on a horizontal plane. So this is the vertical tower and stands on a horizontal plane and is surmounted by a vertical flagstaff of height 6 meter. So this horizontal pole, tower, is surmounted by one more another flagstaff is there with a 6 meter height on this tower. Okay. Then at a point on the plane, the angle of elevation of bottom and top of the flagstaff are 30 degree and 45 degree. So at a point on this plane, the bottom and top, bottom angle of elevation of bottom and top are 30 degree and 45 degree. Angle of elevation of bottom is 30 degree, angle of elevation of top is 45 degree. Then find the height of the tower, that means this h we have to find. Here root 3 is equal to 1.73. We have to substitute the value of 1.73. Okay. Then okay, nothing is given. Find the height of the tower. So here we have to find the height of the tower. So let's name this is A, B, C, D. So in triangle ABC, in triangle ABC, we have to get this AB. Then only we can apply this AB to here. So apply the tan theta. What we will get here? AB by AC by AB, opposite by adjacent side. AC by AB is equal to tan 30. What is AC? AC is a H. H by AB is equal to, keep it as AB, okay? Which is equal to tan 30 is 1 by root 3. That implies AB take into here H root 3. So H into root 3 which is equal to AB into 1 AB. Okay? Just to keep it as AB value. Now come to the triangle. In triangle ABD, what we have? AD by AB is equal to tan 45. Okay, tan 45. What is AD? H plus 6. Implies H plus 6 by AB is equal to 1. Clear? So H plus 6 is equal to AB means is equal to 1. So what is that? Here we will get AB is equal to H plus 6. Am I right? Then we got it that. What is AB? Substituting the value of AB from this equation number, that is H root 3. So substituting for AB here as H root 3, we will get H root 3 is equal to H plus 6. This H take into here, what we will get here? H is equal H into root 3 okay, just write it separately. H root 3 plus H will be minus H is equal to 6. H is common, take it outside. Root 3 minus 1 is equal to H. Now H into root 3 minus 1, that take into denominator, so H is equal to 6 by root 3 minus 1. Never substitute the value of root 3 at this stage, just rationalize the denominator first, then substitute. For that, multiply by and divide by conjugate of the irrational number on the denominator. What we will get here? 6 into root 3 plus 1 divided by root 3 plus 1, root 3 plus 1, a minus b, a plus b. That is a square minus b square. So after this multiplying, we will get here 3. Cancel, we will get 2 into root 3 plus 1. Now substitute the value of root 3 as 1. In this stage only you need to substitute. Never substitute here. Your answer will be little different from the final one. The final answer is given that 8.19 meter. Okay, just to substitute the value of root 3 after at this stage. Okay, if any question involved, whether it is question asking from surface area or addition of trigonometry, if the value of irrational number given and if any quantity consists of the irrational number on denominator, it is better to rationalize than substitute. And question number 39 is regarding with the first term of cone. So I am not going to solve here. Question is there, you can see. If you are interested, you can solve yourself. Question number 40 is actually asked in the section of cumulative frequency curve, that is Ogilvy. Okay, that is also deleted, so I am not going to discuss that one. The last question in this set we are going to discuss. Median is given 525. Okay, median is given 525. Median is equal to 525. And the total number of frequency, that is 100. We have to find the value of x and y. Okay, we have to find the values of x and y. For that, first we need to draw the cumulative frequency, or first we need to find the cumulative frequency distribution less than that. We are going to solve this question by using less than type cumulative frequency distribution. So how to find the cumulative frequency distribution less than type? Just adding the previous frequencies to the next one. So here we will get it. The first one is 2, then next 2 plus 5. Okay, that is equal to 7. Then next is 7 plus x. Okay, then 7 plus x plus 2 will be 21 plus x. Am I right? Sorry, 19 plus x. 7 plus 2 is 19 plus x. Then 19 plus 17 is equal to 19 plus 17, 29, 36 plus x. And here 36 plus 20, 56 plus x. 56 plus x plus y. Then 56 plus 9 is equal to 65 plus x plus y. Then 65 plus 7 is equal to 72 plus x plus y. And 72 plus 1 is, that is 76 plus x plus y. Okay, so first equation we need to make from this condition. We have got that sum of all the frequencies, that is 17 plus x plus y. So according to the given condition, that 76 plus x plus y should be 100. That implies x plus y is equal to 100 minus 76, which is equal to 24. Equation number 1, x plus y is equal to 24. How this equation we got? Because here total after finding the less than type cumulative frequency, the last value will be the n, sum of the all frequencies, because finding less than 1000 here. Since this less than 1000 we are finding with all this frequency will be less than 1000. So all these corresponding values are less than 1000 and corresponding frequencies belong to here. So that means the last value we will get in the cumulative frequency distribution less than type will be the n. That n is given as 100 in the question. So by using this, by equating this, we got first equation, because this consists of two variables. Now come to the second one. Here median is given 525. So the median class will be the class in which this median lies. Then we can observe in this class, we can easily identify that the class with the 500 to 600, in this class median is lies in between 500 and 600. So this is the median class. That is the first unit. We need to locate the median class. After locating the median class, we will get all the values. What is the formula for calculating the median? Median can be calculated the formula that is equal to L plus n by 2 minus CF divided by F into H. So the values we need to get it. The first one is L. Lower limit of the median class is 500. Then what is the n by 2? N is 100, so n by 2 is equal to 50. Then CF, cumulative frequency of the class preceding the median class, that is 36 plus 6. Cumulative frequency of the, not the cumulative frequency of median class, cumulative frequency of the class preceding the median class, that is equal to 36 plus x. Then F is the frequency of the median class, that is 20. And H is the size of the class, that is simple 100, because overall the size of the class is 100 is the size of the class. Okay. Then just substitute those values here. We will get what is the median given 524. So first substitute these values in LHS part. That is L is equal to 500 plus n by 2 is 50 minus EF is 36 plus x, bracket is compulsory, divided by F is equal to 20 into H is equal to 100. Okay, which is equal to 525. Now 500 take into here, so what we will get here? Here 1 0 is cancelled. Okay, then 50 minus 36. Okay, directly I am calculating 50 minus 36. This 500 we will take here. So 50 minus 36 is equal to 14 minus x. Okay, into 10 by 20, sorry, 100 by 20, 1 0 cancel, then 10 by 2 is equal to 5, which is equal to 525. This plus 500 we are taking to here, so it will be minus 500. That implies 14 minus x is equal to 525 minus 500 is equal to 25, and this into 5 taken here, it will be divided by 5, which is equal to 5. So 14 minus x is equal to 5. So x take into here and 5 take into here. So what we will get here? 14. This plus 5 will be minus 5 and minus x will be plus x. So we will get it 14 minus 5 is equal to 9 equal to x. So the value of x we have put, that is 9. Now we need to get the value of y. So after getting the value of x from here, just substitute the value of x in this equation number 1. So we will get what is the value of x here? That is 9 plus y is equal to 24. Substituting the value of x in this equation number 1. That implies y is equal to 24 minus 9, which is equal to 15. So the value of x is equal to 9 and the value of y is equal to 15. Okay.